Hello again, folks, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. Glad that you've joined us here on this live broadcast for BookBaby Live. My name is Stephen Spots, and we've got a really important topic for you folks today. Of all, we've covered about 13, 14 now. This one, I think, is one of the most important because I don't know an author who has been successful who hasn't had a really strong email program to sell their book. So we're going to cover that during today's broadcast. There's really so much more I could talk about, and I will be doing in subsequent BookBaby blog articles, but this is at least a taste, a good six of the key points about what you need to do for your email. But first, let's do some housekeeping. So with that, Carter, if you could take us away on a slideshow, and here we go. So really, this is about creating and growing an amazing book marketing tool that has stood the test of time to be a real proven winner for self-published authors, especially to get the word out about their books. So here we go. So that's me. I'm President Emeritus of BookBaby.com, the nation's leading self-publishing services provider out there. Each month, I try to tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm going to echo my sad tech story from last month. So last month, I told you, I confess, I'm still on my iPad version 1, and now to dovetail that, I'm still on an iPhone 7 Plus. It still works really well. I'm being dragged kicking and screaming into new technology as I don't get the new iOS updates, but oh well, I'm not exactly an early adopter. Anyway, things like that are good little tidbits to be included in perhaps a book. And I am a self-published author, and I feel like I can speak to you with the authenticity of the trials and travails of going through the process of being an author. Also, the triumphs and happiness and feeling of accomplishment once it's done. In fact, I have a revised book coming out here in a couple of months that she'll be talking about here in the following months. So that's a little bit about me, and this is about what we do. So we're going to spend about 30 minutes or so covering some of the topics that I have brought for you today. I'm going to spend about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes on this. Usually they're about self-publishing and marketing, but we will have time for your questions. So please, if you can, in the comments box, please write out your questions now. We'll try to get through as many as possible through this broadcast. Anything that we don't get through, I try to email folks and get those out, or perhaps I do a kind of a mailbag post, if you will, for our blog. So start filling up the comment section with your questions, and I'll try to cover them. By the way, as always, these are some of the covers that our BookBaby designers are doing, and each month I'm just amazed at the kind of variety of amazing stuff that they're doing for us. And one lucky attendee here at each event selected to have not a face-to-face, well, Zoom call if you want, consultation with me about your self-publishing book. And we talk, it's a 15-minute one, but it's never going 15 minutes. And I owe a couple of people. So if you're on the line today, hopefully you saw my email this week, and we can get that thing scheduled. So here's how you do it. What you do is you share this video, you tag a friend in the comment section, and you're automatically entered to win the consultation with me. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. We do have a really great group in Facebook called the Authors of BookBaby. And it's a very lively group. We've got about 1,500 members in there. I know there's a good peer-to-peer opportunity for you to talk about all things self-publishing. It doesn't have to be about BookBaby. It's nice if it's about BookBaby, and I appreciate that. But it's a good place for you to kind of learn from your fellow authors, make some friends. Never a bad thing to network. So I heartily recommend that. All right, so away we go. So let's talk about today, email for authors. And really, it's creating what it is the very best book marketing tool you can have. Of all the things for you to spend your time on, besides writing, of course, and doing your self-editing, setting up your email system, and really it is a system for process from beginning to end, really an infinity, if you will, is so important for you to establish yourself, not only for your books, but yourself as an author. I'm going to try to take you through some of the fundamentals here. But what I want to do is I want to start off with one thing. If you don't remember anything else, don't remember that I have an ancient iPhone. This is what I want you to remember about the importance of email, all right? Look, social media is fun. It's diverting. You can go down a rabbit hole on this. And it's wonderful for brand building, and big companies are doing that. But it's been proven now over the years, it's not very good for helping people to buy directly, okay? There are other things you can do on social media, and we're going to talk about that. This is what you need to do. Buying happens through your email list. I mean, yes, you're on Amazon, you're on all the other. But if you want to help people, if you want to establish your own reading clientele, it happens through an email list, not on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. It really doesn't. There is a place or time for that, and we'll talk about that today, okay? But also, I want you to think of it in this way, and I shouldn't do this, so we're going to talk about really everything you need for email success. And I shouldn't do this since I'm on a diet, but I tell you, this is what a successful email program looks like, and I'll prove my point later on down there. But think of that beautiful loaf of sourdough bread that is the end goal of your email program. All right, so let's get going on some of these. So first, what you need, an author platform. Now, people who have been to self-publishing, conferences or webinars, you've heard people talk about a platform. Well, what really is that? It's a place for you to call your own, all right? It's got to be there for you. A Twitter page is not a platform. A Facebook and an Instagram account is not a platform. You really need your own website. You can do so many things for it. People can find you that way. It's really important, but it doesn't have to be elaborate or simple. In the course of a long weekend, we have the timing of this happens to be we have a long weekend coming up, a holiday weekend. From Friday through the following Monday, you can set up a WordPress site and have it up and functioning quite easily. All right. You need to buy a URL. By the way, stevenspots.com is taken, so you can't buy that one. That's mine. But you can buy your own name as a URL. You can buy the name of your book as a URL if it's available. It's easy to do. And there are instructions all over the web, and I'm not going to waste time today talking about that. But it's vital for you to have that platform, have a place to call your home, all right? I have written a lot of blog posts about it. Here's one from the BookBaby blog about, what you really need to have on your blog. And really, it's your book news, a call to action to buy your book, a real easy way to contact you, and then it's a great place to promote upcoming events. That's the bare minimum. You can do a ton more of things on your website. You can hang a blog off of it. Again, I don't want to get off in a rabbit hole here. Go to the BookBaby blog, look for articles about your author website, and I think you'll get some ideas. You'll also get some great examples of what a good one looks like, what's not so good either. So I encourage you to go there. So that's step number 1 of 6. Got to have a platform. Got to send people. Got to be that place in the World Wide Web that you can call your own. Okay, it's very simple. Next thing you need to do is to get an email provider. Don't do this yourself. Don't try to have an Outlook or a Gmail account with a bunch of spreadsheets. It's not worth it. All right. There are tons of email providers out there. I could talk to you about 10 of them, but I'm only going to really talk to you about 2 of them. All right. But picking this service is, from the very beginning, is an important step for you. You really don't, there's about 3 or 4 for you to consider. I've got 1 for you to really focus on. All right. But it's vitally important you have what is a very cheap and easy way for you to get established in the email world. Not only will they do a lot of the work for you, you'll learn a lot about it. So here's the 2 I want to compare. Now, most everyone has heard of MailChimp because, frankly, a lot of commercial sites work through MailChimp. BookBaby doesn't. We do our own type of program. But you see a lot of companies use it, and it's great. You have a free account. You can put 2,000 contacts in it. Email costs are $20 a month for 1,000 subscribers. And you can do an unlimited number of emails, all right? Landing pages, and you've got contact forms, and we'll talk about that. But here's where it gets a little different. It's pretty complicated because it's not built for the individual self-published author. It's built for companies who have devoted email people, like our Lucy Briggs, who spends all of her time devising, concocting, mailing out different messages, okay? So the navigation is very complex. I'm going to compare that to a company called MailerLite. They've also got free accounts up to 1,000 contacts. Email costs are half of what MailChimp is. Yes, they do the same landing pages and contact forms, which we'll talk about, but here's where it's different. It's easy to use, and the navigation is simple. So I don't waste your time trying to compare. Just get MailerLite, okay? Frankly, this is the one to go. Just because MailChimp is well known doesn't mean it's good for every single situation, all right? So I say MailerLite is so easy that a native Oregonian like me can actually figure it out, and I'm doing that for my own little website that I'm setting up myself, all right? So here's some of the features of MailerLite, and we'll talk about 2 of them in a little bit more detail. But yeah, I did mention it's a free account, all right? You've got automation, which we're going to cover in a minute, which does 2/3 of the work of your whole email program for you while you're sleeping, in fact. So it's very easy. You can embed and do promotional forms. You've got email scheduling. Takes care of things about privacy rules. Something's called GDPR, which is in Europe. But also, there are states in the U.S. that also have concerned privacy laws. Don't need to spend even a minute on them. MailerLite will take care of all that. You can segment your list. If you want people whose names begin with S through Z, great, you can email them or silly things like that. All right. It's got a great dashboard. You're easy to remove inactive subscribers. It's good to keep your list healthy. And then you've got email subscription form creation, which is the next point, right? You've got to create a good form. So on our list, you've got to make contact forms to go above and beyond just the basic. All right, everybody's familiar with this. You see on every website, blah, 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 in gray, subscribe to a newsletter, yah, yah, yah. Look, you can do a lot better than that. We do a BookBaby. We have different ways of doing that. Again, I could spend an entire hour talking about the different ways that you can try to entice people to subscribe. But look, here's the John Grisham mailing list, okay? It tells you what you're going to get. There's a little privacy boilerplate on the bottom. All you do is enter your email. That's a good example of one, all right? Some people get more creative, and I know you can. You give away prize to lucky readers, and we'll talk about the kinds of things you can do, But look, today could be your lucky day. All you need to do is get the email. Plus, you've got your social media prompts there. So you can go really creative on these type of contact forms. Once again, Made of Light has dozens of different templates. You want a green one, you want a purple one, whatever. You want a picture in it, you want other copy in it, you can customize it. But it'll do it for you. Again, do the job for you because you've decided to go with Made of Light. Strongly recommend them, okay? Here's the next thing. Okay, so you have the contact form. You have a way for people to sign up. Well, what are you going to get? What are you going to offer them, all right? People are a little particular about their email address. You got to give them. You got to induce. You're going to offer something in return. If you give me if I give my email address to you, what are you going to give me? This is most important of all these 6 points, quite frankly. All right. So it's called a lead magnet. All right. It's an enticing offer. All right. Here's a good one for Jeff Goins, The Art of Work. All right. He says, look, you're going to receive a video course, a workbook, a private community, exclusive access to the author. You've got to give somebody a reason rather than just, hey, you happen to be a nice person and your book looks pretty, okay? Do something. Come up with some things to offer prospective readers to just simply give them your email address. Because once you have that, you're halfway home in converting them into a loyal reader, okay? So look, here are some of the different offers. Here's some of the basic, simple offers I've seen around the web. Yes, you should do a newsletter, and that's a given, all right? Which once a month, every other week, whatever you want to do, we'll talk about that. Look, free ebooks. I joke around at our offer meetings at BookBaby. We're trying to come up with, well, should we do a sale on this and do a sale on that? I always pipe up saying, well, we can do free shipping on ebooks, which of course doesn't cost anything to ship, and I get a forced laugh out of a few of our marketers. But anyway, you can offer ebooks for free because it really doesn't cost you anything in terms of shipping, and it's easy to do to give a coupon for that. You can do short stories for your fans, maybe something only available on your website, that's not going to be available on Amazon. But if somebody signs up, you're going to give them some stories maybe once a quarter, all right? Previews and excerpts of upcoming books is always a great technique and tactic. Get people involved in your book beyond just being on your list. You can do whole chapters, all right? And then once you get an inventory, a bundle of discounted books is really, a discount on bundled books is a good way to get people, to say, hey, look, if you join the list, you'll get 50% off my first 3 books I did, or something like that. All right. So there's some basic ones, but let's get creative. Okay. If you want to make a mailing list that does something for you, make it really worth the effort. Maybe some behind the scenes look at your writing process. Maybe you go off in a cabin in the Oregon wilderness and what to do your writing. Take pictures of your cabin. Take pictures of your silly computer that you work on, or the kind of coffee that you drink while you work. Let it behind the scenes. You can do free shipping coupons and promotional codes. You can do 14-day or 30-day email series. A lot of our nonfiction authors, if they're doing a lot of courses, we do a lot of business books and people teaching courses, they offer something special, just to go in, join the email program, maybe an excerpt of their book to get them involved in what the topic is. Video or audio files are always great to have, as saying, if you click this on our website, you can access these pages for video. Do some fun things. Have a survey, have a question, a quiz. And then, some people who have really established themselves, they can do VIP membership levels where if you join in this and you buy a book here and you put a code in here, you access other levels. That's way down the line. Let's start with the website, get something out there, give people a reason to join your site, all right? To join your list. Okay. Next thing you need to do is this, and this is where people need to really start to assess how they're marketing themselves and their book. Because frankly, once you have these first 4 basics, you've got your platform, you've got your email provider, you've got a way for people to get a hold of you, you've got your offers, I would reorient your entire advertising strategy. Instead of doing posts of saying on Instagram, saying, buy my book, or at Twitter, hey, I've got a great book. I wouldn't do that. I would say, join the list. All right. Harvest contact names, people that you know on social media, and convert them into bona fide email names. I've said this at the beginning of social media, and I'll say it now. I believe that every 25 people who follow you or likes or friends of whatever medium, you need 25 people in terms of equivalent value to one email address that you can use and you can nurture and you can communicate with in a human-to-human type basis. So frankly, I would point all of your advertising, you get ad for authors as a matter of fact, here's an example of an ad for author type thing. They're not selling their book. They're saying, click here to download a free copy of something, not their book. It's an easy thing, all right? You're not asking them to spend $19.95 or $19.95 or whatever. All you're doing is asking for them to go to a contact page, they send their email address in, and boom, you're halfway home. Because then once you have them within your ecosphere, it's like you're going on offense, all right? You have these people, they've trusted you with his name, and we'll talk about how you're going to contact them, okay? All right. Last thing is this, and this is where I see, I walk people through this program and say, okay, have you done this? Have you done this? Yes, okay, good. All right. Now, how often do you email them? Oh, well, I don't know, once a quarter, maybe once every 6 months. No, that's not the way to do it, all right? Think of it as a contract. You've signed a contract with somebody, all right? In return for the email address, you now need to communicate with them. That's vitally important, all right? You've got the subscribers. You've got to implement an email marketing strategy. Now, it sounds like some talk coming from some chief marketing officer. No, it really is very simple, and I'll show you a template one, all right? But it means you've got to continue the content. It's a commitment now, all right? They've given you an email address. You can't just let that sit there and mold. You've got to keep in contact with them. It is not spam, all right? If you're emailing every day, every hour of the day, that is spam, all right? But if you don't email, if you let them lie fallow and you don't talk to them in 3 months, you're doing just as much hurt, towards that contract, if you will, than if you're emailing them every day. They expect to hear from you. They're going to wonder about you if they don't hear from you. So look, you're living up to your agreement. It's not spam, and it's hard to sometimes to get people to kind of think about it in those terms, saying, well, wait a minute, I don't want to bother them. No, they've asked to find out about you, about your life, and about your book. So you've got to do it. So let me show you a sample of the kind of things that are going to happen. Now, remember when I said that MailerLite and all these other ones do this too? They have automation, and I'm going to explain what that means now, all right? So if I showed you the automation that we have when you join the BookBaby list, it would look like a bowl of spaghetti, because we have different types of mailings and going out. But what this is very straightforward. All right, so let's just say someone has signed up for my list about books about cabins in Oregon. All right, so once somebody has done an email sign up, there's a brief confirmation note sent out. Now, guess what? You've got to set that up exactly once, because it's automated from that point forward. Your next 100 people signing up will get the same note. It'll get it immediately. All right. What I suggest is you set up a stream of about 5 different automated emails. Again, you can change them anytime you like, but you don't really need to. This is that getting to know you kind of stream of messaging. And you should take some time to really think about what you should do. This is just a quick suggestion. I would say at the end of day one, a nice kind of heartfelt thank you for signing up. Here's what I'm going to, I really appreciate it. Here's who I am. Here's what my books are all about. Here's what you're going to be getting. Maybe the second day, I send you another email and say, hey, look, you know what? Again, I want to thank you again for, here's a sample newsletter that I send out. Just get yourself ready for it. Make sure I'm whitelisted on your email service. This is kind of what you're getting. Day 4, I do something a little bit off the wall. All right, I do like a personal glimpse, saying, hey, here's a picture of the cat that's always drooling on me as I write my books. Isn't he nice? Ha ha. Something a little different, not related to the book or to the email list. Just, again, let them know, show your personality. And finally, on day 7, maybe do something different. Ask a question, stimulate some conversation. If you have a comment section on your website, when you're doing either blogs or posts, you can kind of direct them towards that and get the conversation going. Again, conversations are always two-way. At this point is when you start your original content, okay? But you've had 5 contacts going out to them in the space of a week. They recognize what your email looks like, what the subject line kind of looks like. They get the email address. They're great. They're probably opening up a lot, by the way, all kinds of stats and numbers for numbers geeks if they want to see how their emails are doing. That's when you start your original content. Now, people ask me, how often should I email my list? All right. I would tend to go as much as you possibly can feel like doing. Again, we're authors. All right. We don't have time to send to write tons of blog posts and things like that. I would look for a newsletter maybe every 2 weeks. If you can't do every 2 weeks, at least do a month. They don't have to be long. All right. If you can do 500 words in a newsletter, that's more than enough. Hit 3 or 4 different topics. Again, all of these email providers, like the one I'm recommending, have formats, have templates that you can actually use to set things up. All right. So I would say every 2 weeks, if you can, get your newsletter going out there. Every month, I do something special. Maybe you can shoot a video and just literally have, hey, you know what? I just shot a quick video. Have a look. Nothing long. Just have the video up there. Have it either housed on your page or on YouTube or wherever you want to put your video. And then, of course, if you have any events surrounding your book, newsflash. Hey, I've just finished my book. My book is about to be published by BookBaby. Guess what? It's available on Amazon. Those type of things. Break into your normal programming, if you will, and take advantage of that. This is all the kind of normal content that email subscribers are not only open to, they want it from you. All right. Again, it's getting over that hump. It is not spam. This is something that people really want. They care about you. They care about your book. So keep in touch with them. And it's much more personal than, again, going through a Facebook or an Instagram. So that's my recommendation. All right. So back to the original slide. In conclusion, your winning email strategy is selecting your sourdough starter agreement. Now, I've got to tell you, during the pandemic, I started and killed at least 7 sourdough. So maybe this is a bad example, but really, this is the kind of nurturing that you need. You need to add water. You need to add the flour and the salt and yeast or whatever should be going into it. Maybe that's why they died. But really, it does take that kind of almost daily care. All right. It doesn't require a lot of time and effort. Once you've set up all these other basics, all right, you've got that going for you, and you're going to be able to bake yourself a loaf of readers. All right. And that's, I'll put that finished. Again, those are the 6 things. The platform you need to do, the email provider, go with the one. Don't spend your time shopping. That really is by far the best. Work on contact form. Again, lots of great templates on EmailLite. Come up with your list menu. What's going to be special for you? What is something about your book that will add a little personality to the kind of thing which you can offer your potential reader? Advertise that email list. Get it out there. When you talk to people, even on your email signature, sign up for my newsletter to get great recipes or whatever, and have a link straight to your contact form. And then finally, you've got to fulfill this. You've got to communicate to people and make sure that you're fulfilling your contract. As you get a bigger and bigger list, you'll be able to send them directly to Amazon to buy, or send them to your own bookshop page if you go through BookBaby or other ways to it. As I say, I don't know of any successful self-published author that has not had a strong email program. It doesn't guarantee success, but I'll tell you what, it really is a great way to establish more of a community around you. Every author can be a brand. Every book can be a brand itself. And this, to me, is the most successful vehicle for getting a financial transaction to happen. Instagram's wonderful. Facebook's great. But really, if you want to get down to business, there really is nothing like email. It's been around for a long time, and it continues to be, even for BookBaby, one of the strongest ways for us to communicate with our authors. All right. So I always try to conclude with a nice little note. This one came in just a few days ago from Tiffany Smith. We were a lifesaver for her. We printed and shipped my books quickly. They've used us for 2 years in a row. Highly recommend them. I appreciate that. Very, very personable, and made sure the page numbers and content would show up properly before they began printing. That's pretty important. And we do have innumerable checks, quality checks as we produce books for people. We don't try to bore you with all the details. Just know, you know what? We're going to take care of you. Your books are going to look great, and we're happy to see these kinds of notes. All right. Next, this month's BookBaby Spotlight podcast. It is growing, by the way. We're getting a lot of people listening to it. We're going to celebrate Pride Month, as so many have. And we're doing at the end of the month, we've got an interview with Catherine Millen. She's representing Philly AIDS Thrift and Giovanni's Room. It's the U.S.'s oldest operating LGBTQ plus bookstore, and it's located right here in Philadelphia. So it's a great episode. I know there's a few other features on there as well. So Wherever you go to listen to your podcast, look for BookBaby Spotlight. It's really well worth your time. All right, and with that, it is question time, and let's try to get through a few. Oh, I talked a lot, so we're going to go. Carter, hope you're on overtime today because we're probably going to go over. So, all right, let's start with some of the questions. So, Lucky Jackson asks, how do I use social media to increase sales? All right, I covered this. I would not spend time saying, buy my book on social media. Send them, get them onto your email list. Let the email do the heavy lifting, all right? When somebody opens up an email, and a lot of people will, up to 50% of the people you send to will open it, especially early on, they get a chance to really digest what you're all about. If this is the quality type of merchandising and presentation, again, those are big, big words, but frankly, it's just being simple and direct. This is why you should read my book. This is why you should buy my book. I think social media has its time and place. We advise authors to go through us to get their social media ads, but I strongly advise them to don't just point them directly to Amazon. Try some ads that take you to an email list and get them a chance to contact them further. I think it's really important. Okay, Tom asks, is there a service that will do all this for me so that I can concentrate on writing? Well, again, what I'd ask you to do is go out and find your email service, set that up, go out and do the one-time automation, all right, and then do some ads to communicate, all right. You can probably hire a publicist to do all this, but frankly, it would be a lot of money, and they probably wouldn't do it as well. I mean, something about email that's done correctly, and I'm on a ton of email lists, mind you. The ones that I can tell when their author is actually doing it themselves, and they're taking a personal touch, not some assistant or some other third-party entity. It's worth the time. It's not a huge amount of time, all right? I recognize that writer's time is valuable, but this is a great avenue for you to sell books. So I would just say, take a long weekend. You can literally get this all done in a long weekend. Of course, you've got to do the newsletters and things like that following, but you can set up most of the guts of this whole program over the space of 3 or 4 days. It really can happen. Okay. You know what? I should have added, but by the way, we have a great ads special going on. I believe it's $50 off the creation of your Facebook or Instagram ads, and it's good through, I believe, the end of this month. Which people watch this in August. I'm sorry, you're out of luck, but it's $50 off of your ad program, and we've had a lot of people take us up on it. It's part of the creation fee that you pay for this, and it's well worth it for us to put our minds on this and create an amazing ad for you. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. So Denley asks, the free version of the email software lets you automate the funnel of emails. Absolutely. The only thing when email-like when it actually the costs start mounting up, it's when you have a list of 10,000 names or 20,000 names. But when you're in the 1,000 to 2,000 range, it's very economical. All those features I mentioned on that slide, they are available for the free account. All right, and you pay $10 a month to do the emailing. It's an incredible bargain. I really strongly look into it, but really it's one of the best. Okay. What suggestions do I have for newsletter content? Make it personal. Make it not something manufactured. Tell people how you're feeling. Tell people where you're on the writing process. Hey, I'm halfway done with my last book, or my next book. Or hey, you know what? Sales are really going well on my second book. Here's what I recommend you do. Here's some of my favorite characters. Make it personal. All right, don't make it salesy if you can. Sure, you should have a call to action to it for them to go to Amazon to buy your book, or Barnes & Noble, or your bookshop account here on BookBaby, where you make the most money. I'm obligated to say that. Make it personal. Make it simple. It doesn't have to be long. The short, if you could have it on, a few screens of your phone, 500 words is always a length that I always aim for when we're doing our own company emails. So I tend to get long-winded in mine, so I'm a bad example. But really, make it personal. Have it from the heart. Okay. If I give away a BookBaby ebook to get an email address, can BookBaby bill me and communicate with them to send the book to them? Linda, send me an email on that. Don't quite understand. I mean, basically, you can give a coupon to send your book, your ebook out. But I'll need to talk to you more about the details. So send me an email. My address is going to come up on the next screen. Okay. Tom, yep. Realize how vital important it is. The whole time, really, this is not that much time. It's a one-time investment on finding, setting up the email, setting up the automation, getting ads out there, and then it's going to work for you while you're busy writing your book. Take the 4 days, take the 3 days, do it. You got to do it. All right. Okay. Judy asks, I've self-published my travel memoir. Don't expect to do another book. Oh, come on, Judy, you got another one. Look, I need to promote it, but must I bother an email list? Absolutely. You know what? Especially a travel memoir. Think of all the stuff, all the rich imagery, all the stories, that maybe didn't make the book. Yeah, it's worth it. It really is. Even if you don't think you have another book in you, because you never know, something might spark. The interaction you get with your email subscribers might think, you know what? I got another idea for a book. So I'd recommend it. Okay. I can't think of many examples where you wouldn't do an email. I really think it's that important. Okay. Shirley asked, my novel's been published by BookBaby. I've offered it on the BookBaby bookshop. Yay. But if I direct them to Amazon for pre-sale, it will not be there. I have to wait for 2 weeks to direct them there. Well, actually, if it's an ebook, it will be available on Amazon immediately, just as fast as it would be on BookBaby. If it's a printed book, your pre-sale period is going to be more like about 45 to 60 days on Amazon and all the rest. And the reason is they need to get their algorithms in place. They need to get their orders to us. They need to basically set up their warehouse, because they're not going to have their buy button available until they're all set up, and it takes them a long time. They're publishing a lot of books. However, that same book would be available on Bookshop within a couple of days. Probably not as quickly as the ebook, but I mean, it's within 2 or 3 days. You can always send people to your Bookshop page for during your pre-sale period if you want to do that. Okay. How about live streaming readings? What an awesome thing to do on your platform. Tom, that's another reason why you want to do your own work. You can do live streaming. You can do video and things like that. It's a worth it on time. I'm going to be nagging Tom through the rest of this broadcast. Sorry about that, Tom. If you're already using MailChimp, what's the best way to get people to MailerLite? Well, basically, you can back out your entire list from MailChimp. But look, if you've already on MailChimp, if you've mastered that, that's great. I only recommend the other company, because if you're looking at it from a brand new approach, if you need to choose a new, somebody new, that's where you go with. If you're already with MailChimp, good for you. You've mastered their rather complicated dashboard. I wouldn't advocate that you'd actually move away from it. If you're happy with MailChimp, go with it. I'm just saying, if somebody is starting from scratch, it's a lot easier. You can do a lot more. Do it quickly. Okay. Finally, one more. Would you ever purchase a list of email addresses? Ooh, that's a really good question. I am very hesitant in this wild, wild west of the internet. Funny, BookBaby's thinking about, from time to time, we've thought about renting other email lists, and the deliverability of somebody else's list, that's when some of these privacy laws go in. You really can't rent the names legally. You can have somebody send it on your behalf. Now, if you know it, now here's the way to do it, all right? If you know another author has an email list, the other author can send an email saying, hey, my readers, I want to introduce you to Tom. And Tom has a great book, and here's Tom's message. That's how I would do it. We call those list swaps, where our message goes to their readers go to our message, and it's a way to, again, everybody's happy. There's no canned spam or GDPR violations here, and really it's under the auspices of the original mailing list too, so it's much more effective rather than, ooh, who's this new email address coming into my email box? Probably will go in the spam filter anyway. So the way to do it is to establish a relationship with authors who also have an email name and negotiate that kind of a split. If their list is twice as big as yours, maybe you give them 2 emails for one of yours. There are all kinds of ways to do it. Okay, I think that's going to be where we're it. I don't know, Carter, if you have given me, yes, you have given me the winner. The winner this week is Loki Jackson. Look forward to a nice conversation with you. If you have any other questions, let's see if I can make this advance. Oh, darn, there we go. Here, one more time. There. If you have any other questions, if I didn't answer your question during this time, there's my email address. I try to get to as many of them as I can. Usually after these broadcasts, they're going to come in about 15, 20 of them, and then they'll go out for the whole rest of the month, as a matter of fact, as people watch us later on YouTube and other platforms. So I want to thank you for this. Next month's topic, haven't quite decided yet. If you have an idea for a topic you'd like me to cover in the next Facebook Live, let me know. So with that, I wish you a good day. And Tom, get that email list up and going. All right, no more nagging. All right, thank you.